Hey guys, Disorder Magic here, and I just wanted to make a quick video to warn you about a potential popular thing arising in Modern, I guess you would say. It's not broken. This is not turn 2 fuse card Emrakul broken. This isn't like Eldrazi Winter bad, so don't blow this out of proportion. But it's annoying because they just took a very toxic, obnoxious deck and made it just a little bit more consistent and doable. And I don't like that. Maybe I'm a little biased because I think 2 people at my LGS run this deck and a lot of people on X-Mage run it. And I've played against it so many times, I hate it. And yes, I constantly lose to the deck because it's a damn good deck, but in my defense, let me just say that it's a glass cannon garbage combo where if it doesn't go off, they immediately forfeit the game and just say, screw it. They basically just table flip and you know, get mad and pouty about it. So that's why I don't think infinite combos are all that healthy for Magic, especially Splinter Twin. I think that was part of the like silent reason that they got rid of it. It's just, oh, it didn't go off. Oh, well, I forfeit. I'm never going to get another copy of whatever. Or, oh, it did go off and I killed you on turn 4. Haha, screw you. Look at me and my infinite combo that I copied off the internet and had nothing to do with. I mean, they're kind of decision heavy and, you know, it gets your pulse racing about, you know, are they going to stop my combo? Ooh, this is exciting. But even that said, a chimpanzee could run an infinite combo deck, okay? This is not like Jund where you really have to really make decisions, like when to swing, what to cast first, what to remove, what not to. Should I kill this now? Should I kill it later? You know, like real, like playing Magic. Like actually playing Magic the Frickin' Gathering. No, infinite combo decks are like, okay, can I cover this combo? Cool, I've got a negate. Let's do it. Oh, look, I failed. Forfeit. That's just not fun. That's stupid. So it should be pretty obvious what I'm talking about. Infinite kitchen finks. Well, it's okay. It's not literally infinite. It's not like infinite cats. It's one kitchen fink, but it's an infinite loop. This is especially annoying because it's a force your opponent to forfeit deck. One time the guy had said 1,000,000 life, and guess what? We kept playing. No, my deck didn't have a secondary win condition. I just didn't think he could beat me with anything on the field. My creatures were too big, and he had drawn too many cards. So technically, if we played quick enough, he would run out of cards first and I'd win. We ended up hitting the time limit, but it was damn close. Hey, I'll forfeit when hell freezes over, okay? So if you're not familiar with Kitchen Fangs, here it is. I hate this god-awful card. It's in my top 5 that need to be banned. The number 1 card on my and basically everybody else's list is Simian Spirit Guide. That would be a unpopular decision to say the least. The reason to ban it is that it's in a whole bunch of hyper powerful decks, and the reason not to ban it is that it's in a whole bunch of very popular high-powered decks. You'd have some butthurt, pissed off people, but the thing is, all it does is accelerate the decks and make them unreasonably fast. The whole rest of the deck, it's not like a combo, except for Storm. And, you know, they've banned Storm in the past, so screw Storm. Okay, so this deck, the Kitchen Finks deck, typically runs Simian Spirit Guide. So, yeah, I say ban both of them. But anyway, Kitchen Finks, 3-2 for 3, hybrid mana, very easy. When it comes into play, you gain 2 life and then persist. So whenever it dies, you actually bring it back from the graveyard with -1/-1 counter on it. So it would come back as a 2/1. So you can kill it an infinite number of times if you can prevent the -1/-1 counter from going on. You already know where I'm going with this. So the traditional way to stop this was Anafenza Kintry Spirit. Now there's all kinds of different ones. I think I've seen like a 5-cost enchantment that does it, or I don't even remember. Maybe that Unhallowed guy, I don't know. But Anafenza is, you know, whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1. So you would always have the Finks come in with 1 toughness, and then you would drop the +1 on them. They would annihilate each other counter-wise, and you could just kill him an infinite number of times. So the obvious problem from Amonkhet that was just printed was Vizier of Remedies. If 1 or more -1/-1 counters would be put on a creature you control, you basically reduce that number by 1. So if you're putting exactly 1 on, you put 0. Obviously, just right off the bat broken with persist. Now, I think there's like 5 creatures with persist or something in Modern right now, or probably even in existence. So it's not like, oh my god, you know, it's kind of like Cascade. Yeah, it's brokenly powerful, but it's not on anything. I mean, you're not going to find a list of 40 creatures with Cascade or persist. I think Undying's a little much, though. I mean, why would it die and then come back stronger? That doesn't even make sense. At least persist makes sense logically. So anyway, the other part of the combo here is the ability to get it killed at will an infinite number of times. So Nantuko Husk is a big one. kind of secondary, but you know, you need redundancy. It's from Origins. Sacrifice a creature, : so that's the cost, and then Nantuko gets +2/+2 till end of turn. So even if he came out that turn, that's not what you win with. You just sack the Finks. Okay, it dies, it comes back, you bolster it, and then do it again, do it again, and you have infinite life. So at that point, you would expect your opponent to forfeit because infinite life, they're not going to win. Now, if they're running Infect, go for it. If they have, you know, get out 10 Guildgates and win, go for it. So, yeah, not a lot of people play alternate win condition decks in Modern, though. Now, the way more popular version is Vizier of Remedies. It's a 1/1 for 1, so it's just better. Sacrifice a creature, : once again, that's the cost, and then scry 1. So not only could you get infinite life, but you could, well, not exactly stack your whole deck, but you could, I guess, automatically fetch a card from your library and make sure it's on the top, because you could just scry, reject, scry, reject, scry, reject until you hit the card you want, and then stop. But then once you stopped, if you scry again, you can't look at the card under the top one, so, you know, whatever. But, yeah, would I make sure it's a, I don't know, negate or something? I mean, they usually don't play blue in this deck. I would probably just make sure it's another Kitchen Finks, I guess. You don't really need infinite life again, but I don't know. It would just be nice to put something on the top of your deck, especially if it was like a game winner. Like, you could probably just make sure Nantuko is next if you used Viscera, and then, okay, swing for infinite damage next turn if your opponent refuses to forfeit, which the last time I played against it, I didn't, because they mouthed through their deck so fast with draw and scry that I knew that I would run out of cards after they run out of cards. So they would run out first in their library, and I did not think that their deck could beat mine, like ever. They could never swing against my line of creatures. They were just too big and too powerful. This is against my Black Death deck, so yeah, kill cards don't really do anything against Finks, because if you try to interrupt this combo by killing Finks, you just help them. I mean, it's like, it doesn't work. And then if you kill Viscera in response, they'll just use her ability infinite times. Same with Nantuko. So it is very hard to stop this. I mean, Lost Legacy, that'll nuke it. Infinite Obliteration, that'll end it, obviously. It's still a shaky combo, but not really. So far, we're at 8-4-8 for the combo. And 8-4-8 is better than Splinter Twin would ever be. So, you know, people played that. That was like 4-4. You had to match up 1 of 4 with 1 of 4, which means you had to mow through your deck like you wouldn't believe, because that was so low of probability that both of those would end up in your hand in a given game. So 8-4-8 is already pretty damn good, but bad news for you, it's not 8-4-8. So let me show you some of the shakier cards. These aren't exactly as ideal as Kitchen Finks, obviously, but Devoted Druid, this one's kind of cool. She has to be on the field for 1 extra turn because of Summoning Sickness, but after that, tap it, generate a green mana, and then put a -1/-1 counter on it and untap it. So if you put it on and then immediately don't put it on, not really sure what the ruling about that is, because you technically can't pay the cost, but you also kind of can because it's like simultaneously triggered. So for now, we'll just assume you can do it. You could just generate infinite green mana, and then, I don't know, 1 boost spell, like Strength of the Tijuru, boom, you win. So it adds another card, but, you know, whatever. You could just run that Shroud Totem. 100 mana, you win the game. Boom, done. So like I said, turns it into a 4-card combo, potentially, unless you have, like, well, even a self-booster, that wouldn't be in there. So yeah, 4-card combo, but, you know, whatever, it adds some redundancy. There's also Glen Elandra Archmage. I wouldn't really call this realistic, but it's annoying. It's a 2/2 flyer for 4. You can pay 1 blue, which is the problem. Sacrifice it and counter target non-creature spell, and then persist. So as long as you got blue mana, you could counter spell after spell after spell after spell after spell, which is kind of cool, because then you can kind of, you know, keep them from, what, exiling Kitchen Finks or something? I don't know. Like, they could try to, like, stasis snare it or something. I don't know, whatever. The problem is there's no build-up. It's like, okay, you can run it in a loop, so what? So you'd need a death trigger, so once again, 4-card combo, but it's built-in control, but it is off-color, so not a lot of people running the Glen Elandra. I just thought, you know, I'd mention it. Now here's the one people actually run, Murderous Redcap. Now this one I've seen. It does cost 4, but it's on color because it's black. Most people play white, green, black in this deck. When he comes into play, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So the infinite combo instantly wins the game. Because it has persist, obviously. So you would just sacrifice it with any of the black cards, and he would come back in. Would he come back in as a 2 or a 1? Who cares? Because Well, probably if you prevented the -1/-1, then you wouldn't have to pick the stack order, so he would come back in as a 2/2. And then with Anafenza, he'd come back in as a 1/1 and then have a +1/+1 placed on him afterwards. Either way, it's infinite damage, so it doesn't really flip and matter. So this is the card that's usually truly redundant. So if you just limit it to Anafenza and Vizier, and then Nantuko and the Seer, that rhymes. That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. Then you've got Finks and Murderous. Okay, now it's an 8/8/8. That is a very, very realistic combo to go off. Now, they typically don't run blue, so they can't just mouth through their deck with Scry, you know, a bunch of like Ponder clones, Serum Visions, Anticipate, all that garbage. And Gitaxian Probe, ha ha ha. Which, by the way, a lot of people would run Gitaxian in this deck, so that's a shame. Now, there is one more option. I might as well mention it just because it's kind of cool. It's not great. Puppeteer Clique, costs 5. It's a 3/2. It's flying. It sucks. When it comes into play, you can take a creature out of an opponent's graveyard and put it into play under your control. It has haste, and then at the end of turn, you exile it. And then it has persist. So you could effectively resurrect everything in their graveyard and swing at them once with it, but that's probably not going to do 20 damage necessarily. I mean, like, how late in the game is it really, and how many did you really kill? I mean, okay, black heavy, fatal push, okay, but honestly, you'd probably be doing like 5 damage to them. But if they have a really big graveyard for some reason, some kind of self-mill, or I don't know, you could nuke them with this. But it costs 5. It's not very realistic. But that's just another really major card that was printed recently. Well, reprinted recently with persist. So I thought I'd mention it. Would I put it in just to make the combo even worse? Yeah, probably. I mean, if I get up to 5, it's late game enough that their graveyard probably has something in it. And yeah, I'd try and hit him with this. Why not? Well, and plus I could just block or swing with the Puppeteer forever, and he would just keep persisting. So you could even call this, depending upon how they built it, like an 8-12-8 combo or something. So very, very, very doable. Now, before it was pretty much relying on Anafenza, but like I said, I saw some more expensive cards that were better. It's just the Vizier of Remedies is the problem. That one costs 2. Only one of the colors is white. It's just so doable. I mean, it's a creature, so you could blow it up, or your opponent could blow it up, I should say. But it's fast. I mean, it's the same cost as Anafenza, but more flexible because it's not double white. It's just good. Now, here's what pisses me off. Well, 1, infinite combos in Modern that aren't banned. And 2, Standard didn't need this card. I mean, a 2/1 for 2 in white is garbage. It doesn't even have first strike, flying, nothing. It's crap. Doesn't have lifelink, nothing. Plus, I think this is the only card that does this in Standard that, like, shuts down -1/-1 counters, except shuts down's a little generous because if they're dropping 3 -1/-1 counters on your creature, it still gets 2. So would I even bother putting this in my sideboard if everybody at my LGS was running -1/-1 counters? Probably not. What I would do is the much more effective tactic, which is +1/+1 counters. I mean, okay, the timing might be bad and they might actually kill your creature in the meantime, but assuming that wasn't the case, let's say they get a little bit delayed, they had to mull to 5, they're a little bit slower. Well, now you're dropping 1/1 counters onto your creatures before they even drop -1/-1s on them, and you're hitting them for more damage. So why stop at just preventing -1s when you could put +1s on, which is good no matter what the game state is? So I don't think anybody's playing Vizier of Remedies, but it is like 60 or 70 cents, and the foil, by the way, is like $6. That tells you how many people are throwing it into Modern. A lot. I think I got $3 for the foil of this card on a buy list. So FYI, warning, people are going to be playing this in Modern, especially people who are already playing Kitchen Finks. This is just a 100% automatic include. So do I think they should ban Finks? Absolutely. Like I said, it's in my top 5. I don't like turn 4 infinite combos. Apparently neither does Wizards. They banned Splinter Twin. I don't know if I've seen Finks a whole lot like at the GPs, but I also don't give a crap about Modern at GPs. I don't even look at the lists. So I don't know why I even said that, but I don't recall hearing about it being 20% of the meta, so whatever. It is really annoying, and the big problem, here's why it affects you guys, because you're probably not going to a large 3,000 person Modern tournament, but it is super cheap to build this deck compared to most Modern decks. I mean, it is dirt cheap. A lot of reprints helped it out lately, and Vizier, like I said, 60 cents. I think you could afford that. Honestly, even Anafenza, she's like $3 or something, I think, so I mean, there's Nantuko's like 50 cents. I mean, there's not a whole lot in this damn deck. I'm sure there's some $20, $30 cards in the land base would be a nightmare, but that's kind of a given. So I really, really hate this deck with a passion, but like I said, I explained why it's not fun, it's not fair, and it's not healthy for the game. So even if your opinion is, oh, I don't mind it, it's still quite bad, and now they just made it better and more consistent. So considering that this is more consistent, more powerful, more flexible, and better colors than Splinter Twin, I think we've got a problem here. I think this is going to be a growing problem. This deck's going to become more popular. I don't think it'll ever just shut down Modern. It's not that bad, but like I said, it's very annoying to play against. So what do you guys think? Should they have never printed Vizier of Remedies in Standard anyway, because it's just not good enough? It's not a proper counter to -1/-1 counters, and nobody plays it. Now, the one thing that I know people are going to say is Vizier of Remedies is actually pretty damn good in Draft and Sealed. And that is true, because a lot of the best -1 cards are 4, 5, and 6 cost mana, or in that range. A lot of them are also rares, but a lot of them are also commons and uncommons. So you could legitimately draft a -1/-1 dumper deck where you just dump -1s onto everything. So Vizier of Remedies would be a pretty good equalizer then. It's an uncommon. Can you really count on it? But if I saw it coming and I was playing white, I'd probably grab it just in case. And maybe even just like sideboard it. Well, in Sealed, I would sideboard it just because, duh, it's in your sideboard. But what do you think? Is this pretty bad, kind of bad, extremely bad? Where would you rank it? Have you played against this toxic garbage deck? What's your favorite way to stop it? And do you think they made a mistake printing this? So I'm curious to see what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next video.